Arsenal close in on Urian Timber as a second bid is submitted today, on the same day that Kai Havertz completes his medical ahead of a move to the Emirates. The question still remains, which team will Declan Rice be joining this summer as Arsenal, Manchester City prepare bids? And we'll talk about so much more as well, people, as Arsenal are looking around for other players, monitoring Romeo Lavia. Man United are on the hunt for Mount and Caicedo, but Chelsea are reluctant to sell, and they are also the favourites for Caicedo. Plus, we got breaking news as we're speaking. We'll get into it, into Tereak talks, transfers, triple T, people. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well. And it has been a while since I have said that. Oh my word, it has been a while. Guys, I'm back. I am back. We'll get into it, people. We gotta talk transfers. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been 2 months. It has been 2 months today, I believe. 2 months today. Well, yeah, 2 months today, isn't it? Yeah, 2 months. Well, a month. 2 months today. Sorry, I'm working out during the stream since we've last been here on Tariq Talks. And guys, I have missed you, and I have missed you so much. And I can see plenty of comments coming in that was coming in throughout the day, to be honest. And I really have enjoyed seeing them. And here's my brother Wilf in the building. He says, yes, he's back. My little bro is back. My co-host on the Arsenal show says, suck T-Money. It's been a minute. Bless up my TTF. So he's blessing up you guys as well. Bless up my brother Wilf in the building, my big bro. Hope you're doing good and well. Mr. 200 in here as well, saying good to see you back. I hope you've been well. Oh, and you've been disqualified from the Predictions League in your absence. So I won. We'll get into that. We'll get into the end, towards the end of the stream, what we're going to be doing for the Predictions League. And don't worry, it's a benefit to you guys for this. But yes, people, it is great to see you back as well, Mr. 200. Thank you. I am doing well, and I'll get into that as well when we get into it in the stream. So much to talk about. This might be a long one. It might be, but big up yourself, Mr. 200. Matt G in the building saying, T, good to have you back, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Big up yourself, Matt G. Hope you're keeping well. And those of you that are living in the UK, like I know Wilf, Mr. 200 and Matt G are living, and a lot of you guys, it is boiling and this room is hot. So if you start seeing me sweating or I'm having to get the water, which I may need refilling during the show, then you understand why. But big up yourself, Matt G. I'm glad to have you guys back as well. That's the most important thing, to be talking football, transfers, etc. with you. Big up my brother Pax as well. He says, I was going to say the GOAT is back, but we all know that's Ed. Besides his Perlo take, he puts Perlo take aside in brackets right there. But yeah, he is a goal indeed, definitely. But big up yourself, Pax. Hope you're keeping well. Love to you as always. And he's back. He says back again. Big up yourself, Rich, in the building. Hope you're keeping good vibes, my bro. Make sure you smash the like button and support the GOAT. Hey, big up yourself, my brother Vibes. Love to you always. My guy Ends, welcome back. Big up my brother Ends in the building here too. Hope you're doing good. Thank you for your lovely welcome. Peony Ween in the building as well. I know this isn't a greeting, but we'll get into that. I'll make sure this is started. I just want to give you my love as well and appreciate you for tuning in. We'll get into that. Thank you for this, because this will delve right into when we're talking about Kai Havertz in particular. Big up my brother Brush in the building, says like, share, subscribe. G Staffy, hello. And guess who's back again? T is back. Tell a friend. Oh, those of you OG subscribers, that doesn't belong. I know I've said it as well, but I got it from UG Staffy on this occasion. But that usually goes to another person who hasn't been in the chat he hasn't been in the chat for a while, but hope he's keeping well too. And late as usual, of course, it's not a talk stream without being late. Mr. Wesbird in the building. Hope you and Mrs. W are keeping good. Says brilliant to see you back, mate. We're all very pleased. Big love to you guys over there as well. Hope you're having a good time and enjoying the sun. Hope you all are enjoying the sun to a certain extent. Hay fever's been ruining me. I woke up with seriously bad hay fever, but that wasn't going to stop me from streaming today on this Monday, this fine Monday, to see you all. Bargav, he said it already. He beat me to it. It's going down. And yet time to yell timber. Big up yourself, Bargav. Looking forward to this, Mr. T. And evening, all you gorgeous people. Big up yourself, guys. Hope you keep it good. Big up T in the building, says Manj. Talk the bottle chop. We'll get into that as well. Don't you worry. This will be a vibe. It says ends and Moss in the building as well. Moss and Luke's channel across the pond. Sports Talk. What's this new Yankee channel? I noticed it's not a new. I know I'm wearing the colours as well with my Huel top, which I know if you guys have ever ordered Huel, this isn't a paid sponsorship. We haven't had that on the channel for a while, but yeah. Yeah, it is good. It is pretty good. I will co-sign it as well for you. But big up yourself, guys. We will get into it. Thank you for your comments already. As we need to talk transfers, so let's get into it because Arsenal, my club, our club for a lot of people in the chat, have been the busiest team this summer with so much going down already. As we opened the show talking about Arsenal closing in on Jurrien Timber, as you know. It's been reported so far that Arsenal close on an agreement with Ajax for defender Jurrien Timber after making a second proposal worth around 41 million. Timber is expected to double his salary to around £6.8 million a year. A lot of money, but not as much as that money that's going around Saudi Arabia at the moment. But this is reported from Simon Jones from the Mail, and we know that Fabrizio Romano broke earlier on. Maybe if you haven't known, well, he broke it early in the morning, just after 9, that Arsenal have submitted a second bid. No news yet whether that has been accepted. When there is a little bit of quiet about a second bid, it's usually a good sign. It means that, you know, that it hasn't been accepted straight away. Maybe they're still discussing some certain things. What does this mean? Maybe it hasn't been flat out rejected. We'll wait and see until we hear news on that. Guys, you're going to have to keep me updated on this, of course, during the stream if there are any breaking news. But Jurrien Timber making his move. And on the same day as Kai Havertz has completed his medical, and that has been reported on Sky Sports as well from Dharmesh Seth, and plenty of other reporters have broke this news today ahead of his £65 million move from Chelsea. So there's 2 signings lining up for Arsenal. Jurrien Timber, a centre-back who's been attracting a lot of interest from Manchester United since Eric Ten Hag took over. We wanted to bring him in, and that he was actually the defender that Ten Hag wanted to bring to Manchester United before Lisandro Martinez. But he was advised by his international manager at the time in Louis van Gaal, as they were approaching a World Cup, not to take that move to Manchester United at the risk of not getting enough playing time to secure his place in the Netherlands team. And he decided to stay. He stayed at Ajax, who had a poor season, and he didn't really live up to, you know, the season that he had previously, which had drawn him a lot of interest from the likes of Manchester United, Barcelona, so much other teams in and around Europe who still remain interested, like Bayern Munich. But yeah, he had a downer season. But when we're talking about the player and the profile that he is, it is very much a Mikel Arteta defender. And what I mean by that is someone who is aggressive, first and foremost. He is an aggressive defender. But what's even better about him is his ball playing ability at the back. Pause on that, heavy one. Now, but seriously, his ball playing ability is second to none. He's one of the best in Europe when we look at his, the way he can carry with the ball progressively, and how he can play passes. He makes some of the most passes. Yes, granted, he plays for Ajax in the Eredivisie, but he's very much of the profile, and he wouldn't really need to take that much adaptation in terms of on the ball. It's not something that he needs to develop in his game per se. There are other areas that he does. His aerial dual percentage isn't great. 41% of his aerial duels he wins, which is not high enough for a defender. And, granted that he'll be going into the Premier League, it's not great at all. We know how physical this league can be. We saw even William Saliba have difficult moments. I wouldn't say difficulties throughout the season, but difficult moments against your likes of your Ivan Toney and whatnot. But Jurrien Timber is brilliant, and I see him more as a right back. Personally, that's what I do see. Is Jurrien Timber will come into that role that Ben White plays, but not covering that Ben White role, but more of a mirror to Zinchenko. It'll be interesting whether we do play a Timber and a Zinchenko. I think he can, because once again, he is someone that can play in the middle in a back four. He can play in a back three as well. You can put him in at right back, and with how Arteta uses his right backs, it's not like a conventional right back that goes up and down or is defending like that in wide areas as much as you'll see Saliba when he's back fit. Oh, how we missed him! How we missed him indeed. But yeah, he's someone that will be able to step into that line in front of the defense and play it through and get it through to our forward attackers in there. And that is something I'm really excited about when we're looking at Jurrien Timber. I'd like, you know what? I'll even get into a breakdown of some of his stats because it is interesting. It is interesting to see indeed. I'm not going to go too much into it because at the end of the day, stats without context, without eyes is not as important. I don't just base how I watch football on stats, but here we go. When we're talking about it, passes attempted, 81.65. So 82 passes he averages per game, which is a lot for a centre-back. And that's what's so important because I've had a discussion on this channel before in the Premier League. If you look at the players who receive the most touches, it's defenders, it's your right backs, your centre backs, and sometimes your defensive midfielders. They're the ones who are on the ball the most, who will have the biggest impact on the game. That's why it's so important for these sides to have ball playing centre backs who can progress it through the lines with minimal touches, like Timber, looking with their head up and having the courage and not just the ability to play forward. And Moss is in the chat right here, and he knows right how these Dutch centre-backs, how these defenders, how these footballers in general in the Netherlands are made is you have to be suited, you have to be versatile, and that's what Timber brings. He would have had time in his youth, growing up at Ajax, playing in midfield, playing on the wings, playing in all sorts of different areas to really develop and round his game, and that's what we're seeing right now at his age, at the tender age of 21. He is has the ceiling is very high indeed, and it's going to be interesting if Arsenal can bring this in and close this on this deal. As he looked favourite. He looked like he was going to Manchester United for sure. But I am excited with the prospect of Arsenal signing Jurrien Timber for about 40 to 45 million pounds as well. I feel like that's a good deal in today's market. 5 to 10 million pounds less, than what Arsenal purchased Ben White for a few seasons ago, a couple of seasons ago now. So it is very interesting. And Arteta, we know Arteta likes to sign defenders. We did think that Arsenal needed to sign a right back, someone to come in there when Saliba isn't fit, someone on that right side of that centre back, and so a right back mainly because of Tomiyasu's injury concerns. And we saw that lack of rotation towards the end of the season where Ben White began to tire, and he covers 2 spots. And Arsenal and Arteta building similarly to Pep in that sense, where the squad depth comes through versatility, not necessarily numbers, because if you have a look at Manchester City's side, their versatility and their squad, I've just said it, their squad depth comes through that. John Stones being able to play as a midfielder now, right back, Ake, centre back, left back. You only have a few players that have a fixed position in Ederson, Ruben Dias, and Haaland even. And those are the only three players that tend to have a fixed position, because you have your Bernardo Silvas that play in centre midfield and right midfield. Jack Grealish, he sort of has a fixed one. Phil Foden, Ilkay Gundogan, Rodri, you see him playing different thirds of the pitch as well. Multifunctional players, as Wes Bird's comment just caught my eye right there. That's definitely the way that we're building, and I like to see Arsenal buying through versatility. And the next player that I'm going to talk about, who has completed his medical today, who has drawn a lot of debate. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments about this guy, Kai Havertz. And PD Ween just says right here, the topic I am interested in is, why do the fan base get upset over a player who's really, really good just because he played for a rival? Good is good no matter who's playing for them, right? I agree with that. I have no problem with signing players from rivals, because the rivals have signed players from us how many times? As a gooner, as gooners, as me and yourself, Peony, we've seen plenty go the other way. Plenty of our best players, and whether Chelsea fans want to hear it or not, who was their top goal scorer last season? Yes, it's not all great to shout about because they finished in 12th, but who was their top goal scorer? It was Kai Havertz. No one scored more goals than him last season. Who else scored their biggest goal within the last 5 years or so? Maybe even more than that. It was Kai Havertz in the Champions League final, and who's one of their most expensive signings at the time before they decided to splash on Lukaku and then Enzo, is Kai Havertz. And look at the ability he has on paper. We know he's got a lot of ability, technical ability, left foot, right foot. He's got athleticism in terms of speed. He's stronger than people think as well. He has flopped at Chelsea and he didn't have a good time there. But how many times have we seen that from attackers at Chelsea as well? Daniel Sturridge is one that you bring to mind. And that's someone that not many people talk about, because he came into Chelsea quite highly rated from Manchester City, from that academy. Didn't really get much game time, scored the odd goal or two in the cup, then left, went to Liverpool and had a fantastic couple of seasons until injury plagued the rest of his career. But wow, Daniel Sturridge was one of the best strikers in the league at the time, and he left from Chelsea. And that's not even talking about, your Mohamed Salahs, your Kevin De Bruyne's. Yes, people may say they weren't necessarily given an opportunity, but I can throw the argument of Kai Havertz wasn't really given an opportunity to shine for a couple of reasons. One, that he never played in his natural position as a midfielder, putting him as a focal point as a number 9, because their other attackers and strikers couldn't really fit into the mold of the Frank Lampards or the Thomas Tuchel's, Graham Potter's, and even Frank Lampard again into their mold. And having all that upheaval, that's another reason. How is he going to be able to be settled when there's so much change going in and around the club? And even when there was a period of stability, which you'd say to a certain extent when Thomas Tuchel was there, the whole club was going through a transition with the whole Roman Abramovich situation, Todd Burley coming in, and you saw how that played out last season, playing in multiple positions. His versatility was his kryptonite at the end of the day, because Chelsea put him in the team and put square pegs in round holes all over the gaff. Played him in right mid. I remember watching him on his debut. He was awful against Brighton. Playing him on the right mid. That's not his natural position. When you look at him, he is an attacking midfielder. And then you'd say he's probably best position is a second striker. So someone that moves in and around that zone 14 meaning the edge of the box, in and that, that center area on the edge of the box, where it's the place of maximum opportunity on that football pitch, where most teams are likely to score goals, whether through shots or assists. That is where Kai Havertz works at his best. And he does have that close control, technical ability, that agility as well, with being 6'3", that frame that he has, quite tall, but he's very deft with his touch and with his movement, and even with his intelligence to make those runs into the box. His timing is brilliant, which is why the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Frank Lampard, and etc. wanted to play him as a striker, because when we look at him initially, one of his weaknesses, yes, he's not a prolific finisher. We know that. And I don't see Arsenal playing him as a number 9 that often. Or if we do, he will be playing as a false 9 into the likes of Gabriel Jesus, and that's not Gabriel Jesus' strength, but we see how he is able to connect with Gabriel Martinelli, with Martin Odegaard, with Bukayo Saka, who are more clinical and are more dangerous in front of goal, and how our goals are spread out throughout the team. And that's really going to benefit Kai Havertz, Peony Ween as well, isn't it? Because when you look at his game, he needs those players in and around him with that intelligence, that technical ability, where he's not required. We need you in the box at all opportunity, at every single time, because you're our main goal scorer. Because Chelsea, unfortunately, well, for their fans, from their perspective, they don't get enough goals throughout anywhere, let alone a striker, but throughout anywhere in that team. And all of their creativity was provided by Reece James. That's the difference. And we've spoken a lot on Kai Havertz right here, but I want to hear your thoughts on this as well. We've got plenty to go. And oh my days, is it Moss's birthday as well? Big up my brother Moss. Happy birthday to you, Moss. In the chat, I'm coming back on your birthday. It's a great birthday present for you. But nah, big up my brother Moss, and happy birthday to yourself. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll speak to you after this stream anyway. But big up yourself. That's what I like to hear. Westbird also says, I believe that Havertz could be an absolute gem. And if Arteta gets the best out of him, like he has with so many of our players, then he'll be a real asset, in my humble but accurate opinion. Exactly. I do agree with you there, Westbird. And I do see that he has done it a lot already, hasn't he? When you look at the likes of Odegaard, who didn't have a home at the time when he came in. When you have a look at Ramsdale, White, who were all ridiculed when we first introduced them. Arsenal fans, you've heard this a lot already. You would have seen it on social media or through your favourite content creators talk about this. But this is what Arteta's done. And he's been really good at that. And you've seen him take Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson's game up to another level that we've not seen before at Arsenal. So yeah, and whether they'll be good enough to take Arsenal to that next level of winning these Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and whatnot that we do aspire to get to, we'll wait and see. But we're adding the likes of Kai Havertz, who have that experience of winning and having those big moments. Won't hurt us indeed. Vibes of the place says maybe Havertz will prove me wrong, but he's had 3 years at Chelsea in different positions and shown nothing. But as I said, Chelsea isn't a breeding ground for a lot of talent at the moment. And yes, he hasn't done anything. I will agree with you on that. But I've seen glimpses. I've seen enough in those glimpses to see that there's a real player in there, and with a good manager and a good system around them, he's got no excuses now to thrive. He has no excuses. If he doesn't thrive at Arsenal, not necessarily saying that he has to hit the ground running in his first season. I think he will. I think he will. But yeah. He's got to show signs of even further development and scoring more goals. With Havertz, if I'm going to set a target, vibes, hold me to it, yeah, because I know you will. What I want to see is 10 goals, 10 goals from him, and I'm not even going to say in all competitions. I'm going to say Premier League, 10 goals in the Premier League for Kai Havertz, because if he is going to be playing this left 8 position, which has been reported, who knows? I couldn't even tell you where I think Havertz is going to play right now. But if it is going to be in that left 8 position, Granit Xhaka scored 7 goals in that position right there. I'm expecting to see 10 from Kai Havertz, where Arsenal will dominate the ball a lot. I think even more than what we saw, because teams are going to respect us now when they're coming to the Emirates, especially. Teams are going to respect Arsenal, and they're going to expect a fast start, which Arsenal do enjoy doing, and how we play direct to our forwards in the opening minutes is a real sign of intent, and that's what I really love, because it's kind of old school, and it's kind of it's grass at the grassroots level. You see at the very beginning of the game, coaches will say, even kick it long, get it as far forward into their own third, and push their defenders back. As soon as you get that ball, play it forward in the opening 5 minutes. Just don't even look to keep it ticking. Push their defenders back. Make them think question, okay, now he's on the ball, we have to step back a bit, step back a few yards and really put that into their heads. And that's what Arsenal tended to do in our great spot and our great points last season. And Kai Havertz will be given that license to go forward if we bring in the likes of a Declan Rice, and we'll get into that there as well, and into that midfield position. We've got plenty to talk about still. Havertz wasn't remotely on my list of expected signings. Me neither, Mr. Westbird. Me neither, Mr. W. Sorry, but as he's coming in, you got to support the player and hope he fits in. Initially, when I first heard this, I was underwhelmed. I was like, "What? Kai Havertz? Really?" I didn't even think Chelsea would sell him to us, to be honest. But when I heard the fee being banded around, I'm like, of course Chelsea are going to do that. But when you look at his versatility, as Mrs. W said earlier as well, how Arteta likes those multiple functional players, and when you look at how he plays for Germany in a team that he's settled in, Germany have been poor, terrible in the under-21s as well. This is a real low point for Germany as within their nation as a football team. Throughout all the levels, it's not been great. Bayern Munich, humiliation in the Champions League, but that's another topic. But yeah, he has been one of their best players within that side. And I remember watching him against England. He was causing us havoc there as well, scoring a brace in that game. One of the goals was due down to Nick Pope. But then you also see against Newcastle, not last season, but the season before, with that wonderful goal that he scored, that touch to kill it dead and then strike first time. He does have those moments. We'll have to wait and see how he does develop. And my brother Roland in the building at Pros Only Sports. Go check them out, people, for your football and basketball streams. They did a great stream on the NBA draft as well the other night. I caught it back afterwards. But yeah, as he says right here, changes of environment for young players is always understated. Absolutely agree. And that's what, when it comes to mind, Roland, when I'm thinking about the changes to the environment, is when you're looking at your Martin Odegaards. Look how that really kick-started his career. Look at the level he's performing at now. We saw glimpses once again in his loan spells at Vitesse, Real Sociedad, never at Real Madrid, because he never had a settled team or never had a settled role in that squad, a place to call home. And that's what you kind of think of with Kai Havertz. Never had a place to call home, never had a settled position, never had a settled squad in and around him because there was so much change. Chelsea have had a big squad ever since he came in, because in that transfer window where they signed Timo Werner, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic came in as well from their signing in January, and so much other upheaval in the lockdowns, in so much more. And it's been difficult. It has been difficult for not just Kai Havertz, but other players that have come in at Chelsea since then, and even still now, with a lot of change in that squad. So I definitely agree about the changes of environment too. And 2 words, Sol Campbell. Yeah, it was that in terms of Yuri and Timber right there. Nav in the place as well. Before I was against Havertz, but now I'm excited for it. I think Chelsea just didn't suit him. We will suit him because we're an attacking team. And Moss says here, formation change incoming. And I agree with both of you, Nav and Moss in the building, because listen, we are an attacking team and he's an attacking player who has good defensive stats too in terms of his pressing, which he's got the fundamentals which Arteta requires from his midfielders and attackers, to press, to go hard, to keep pushing, and to recover back defensively as quickly as possible and getting those turnovers. And he brings athleticism to what that midfield that Xhaka doesn't quite do. And guys, how many times did we watch Arsenal? I remember watching the Arsenal Man City game on a watch long, not the second one, but the first one, when Ed was in here as well, and he was kind of keeping track with the comments. Xhaka in that game, he was the one where you said, if we're going to take it to the next level, we need someone to come into that role more natural, in and around the box, knows when to shoot, knows when to pass, knows even the agility, the softness in and around the area to be able to, play 1-2s, the dexterity, to the angles that they open up, that these types of players like Kai Havertz do. We needed that a bit more, because with Xhaka, and absolutely love the guy, and you know how much I do, and I keep mentioning him. This is not a Tereak Talk show without mentioning Xhaka. he did very well in that role, even though you knew it wasn't natural. But that's just a credit to the man, the professional, the player, the intelligence that he has. Even with limited ability and limited skill set, he was still able to perform at a very, very high level. And that tactical fluidity that Nav's brought in, and Moss said with the formation changes, it's gonna be a very good team to see. And this is what me and Moss will be spoken about plenty of times as well. Moss has wanted that unpredictability, and that's what we're gonna now have. You don't know how Arsenal are gonna set up on each game. And we could have the same 11 on the pitch to the last game, but look completely different because of the versatility. And that is why Manchester City are the treble winners, because they can do that, change within the game state. As I said, 3-4 players who have fixed positions, and then everything else is all fluid. Gundogan, when we got battered to them, he played in a 2 in midfield with Rodri and Gundogan next to each other. And then the next moment, you see him basically as a false number 9. Kevin De Bruyne as a centre mid, playing off the right, playing off the left, playing in behind. It's all of that. Bernardo Silva playing left back against us, for goodness sakes. So yeah, serious versatility, and it's really exciting with the moves of Timber and Havertz. But guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about Declan Rice, because we're half an hour in, people. Smash that like button if you haven't done so already. The algorithm is going to kill me, but I can already see that there's 14 of you right here, and that is massive love to you guys. Thank you so much. And you know what? This is why you guys are amazing, because even when I've left you for this song on my long hiatus, you're back here showing love and support. But yes, as you know what, before we enter that Declan Rice talk, just want to say again, as Matt G says right there, happy birthday to the Moss Boss in the building. And he does say on his 21st birthday, Timber, right centre back, right back, and new gens inversion thingy. But yeah, exactly that. Why talk about City players? I know exactly. But the Declan Rice deal, this is where we are up against Manchester City. And I'm hoping he's not going to be a Manchester City player. But as Fabrizio Romano also said earlier today, Manchester City and Arsenal both want to bid for Declan Rice. And how this has been a saga already. This has been the biggest saga of the transfer window so far, because it's all looked like Arsenal, the team in there, putting our bids in. That drew a lot of frustration from the fan base, and there was a lot of uproar. Certain second bids, all that. And then when Manchester City came in, I will be honest with you guys, I was worried. I thought, and I'm more than worried. I thought, that's it. Man City, the reason I thought, that's it, isn't because I was more doubting, Declan Rice, he's going to be completely turned and he's going to say, what, Arsenal? Great speaking to you. Now I'm going to go for Manchester City. It wasn't to do with that. My worry was when Manchester City came in, is I thought they could blow Arsenal out of the water with their bid. And not necessarily because Arsenal can't afford Declan Rice to the extent where West Ham want. I think if Arsenal really seriously wanted Declan Rice, they could pay 120 million. When I say seriously want, they do seriously want it, but Arsenal could pay 120 million for Declan Rice, because you'll see we'll spend more than 120 million in this transfer window. But we are very strict, and we're not very strict, but we're very professional in how we do manage these deals. And we saw with Mudryk, we do not entertain bidding wars. Arsenal do not entertain them. We don't want to be involved in any of them. You saw it with the Alessandro Martinez deal last summer. Yes, his preference was to go to Manchester United, but Arsenal said, you know what? We're not going to get involved in any bidding war. We don't intend to do that. And if whatever bids we do put in, it's only to make them pay more up there. But we're seriously not going to do it. Our interest made United pay more in that sense. Arsenal with Rafinha, as soon as Chelsea came in, let alone Barcelona, as soon as Chelsea came in, Arsenal went, yeah, okay, we're not going to be prepared to pay that much. No, because you're paying a fee. You're paying that, you're bidding that much to make Leeds reject us so they can accept your bid, because Leeds aren't going to accept a lower bid unless the player really desires so, and says, no, I want to go to Arsenal, although he had his heart set out on Barcelona. And Barcelona, in the end, managed to find an agreement with Leeds, which was less than the initial bid that Chelsea put in. So that really just show you right there that if the clubs do meet and do find an agreement, they can find an agreement there for less than another club's willing to pay for. But I thought, Arsenal aren't going to find this agreement with West Ham, are we? We're not going to do it. And he's Declan Rice, we're with Manchester City willing to put a bid in. I know, and we know in today's world, if a club's willing to put a bid in, that means that they've received the green light from the player. If they're willing to put in official paperwork, to go through all these documents and all the litigation that it requires to put in a financial bid of millions of pounds, I thought that's it. But what the news broke out is that it looks like Declan Rice is really adamant on Man City. Respect to you in that. Hey, if Arsenal can't find an agreement with West Ham, then we'll talk. But my preference is Arsenal, and that really made me happy when that news started to break out, and that made me ease, and it made me think Arsenal can go into these negotiations with a clear head. Yes, they know Manchester City are behind right there, where that big Tereak Talks Ultimate Team card is, which I had a while ago. I just didn't put it up, but I thought the other day I'll put it up, and let me know your thoughts on that. But Arsenal can now go into this. Yep, Man City, we're there, but we can negotiate with West Ham. We don't even need to. You don't need, as long as we can find an agreement. Man City can come in there and try and blow us out of the water. But out of the respect for your captain, your leader, one of your greatest. I mean, this is from West Ham fans, by the way. Greatest academy products in a place where it's brought the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Frank Lampard, Michael Carrick, to name a few, out of there. And he wants to come to Arsenal, and you're happy to do so. And David Sullivan's come out and said that too. So that's the main thing that we're trying to do right now. Both teams are going to be putting bids in. We'll wait and see. Arsenal, if we can get the agreement done, it's looking good. And just to let you know my thoughts on Declan Rice, you should know them already, because if you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know how much I've rated this guy. Even when it was up in the air about Calvin Phillips or Rice, who do you prefer? There was a big debate. I remember in Arsenal communities, people saying, I prefer Calvin Phillips over Rice. And this was in particular after the Euros, where Calvin Phillips really excelled there. When England made it to the final, Calvin Phillips had a really good Euros. But I thought, hang on, are you just forgetting what the stability that Declan Rice brings in there? Yes, he doesn't do all the flashy stuff. He's not always in the final third. He wasn't at that point anyway in his career. But you saw a real development this season in a year where West Ham struggled in the league, but it ultimately got a dream win in the Europa Conference League. But Declan Rice, the levels that he's progressing year on year. At the age of 24, still young, still got his best years ahead of him. But I do think he has been a late developer as well, and that's more to do with the environment. A kind of bit what Roland mentioned earlier on is there's a limit that you can get to at West Ham playing under a David Moyes in particular, not necessarily because it's West Ham Football Club, but because of the style that David Moyes plays. We don't need possession. We'll sit back, defend, get around, play massive open spaces, which is Declan Rice can do so, but with his athleticism, his durability as well. The guy never misses a game, with his leadership, with the professionalism that he continues to show. And how many times have I said that on this stream already? Clear identity and clear characteristics that Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club are looking for within players. And that is why I'm telling you right now, Declan Rice is worth the money. He's worth the 100 million, because not really entirely for his technical ability, which is his defensive abilities, one of the best defensive midfielders in the world statistically, let alone the Premier League in the world. On him and Rodri are at the top for interceptions in the Premier League, and Rodri, best defensive mid in the Premier League. We have to say that right now. In terms of consistency, that's what Declan Rice produces. And I still think, even from a passing ability wise, you're going to see further developments into it in his game. You see it really excel. And the first time I really saw it excel for England was against USA in a game where England drew 1-1. But Declan Rice played in the defensive midfield role. And I thought, you know what? He was one of the best players on the pitch. He played as a lone pivot. And that's where you really saw, okay, now this guy, he can do it for a top team where you are expected to dominate the possession more, where you've got to progress it a bit more. You've got to break it down in massive open spaces. You're not necessarily going to have your 2 blocks of 4 as England try to be more expansive in the World Cup. And then he upped it to the next level against France. Him and Saka were England's best players. Ironically, they could both be Arsenal players at the end of by the beginning of the season. But him and Saka were brilliant in that game. And that's where he did it on the world stage with the eyes watching him. And that's where I think Arsenal and Arteta would have been watching him for a while, but said, no. We need this guy. We need him now. We need to get him in as soon as possible. So Declan Rice has really shown that there, and he's added goals to his game, assists. He's got 6 goals, 3 assists in all competitions this season. And once again, for a struggling West Ham, sorry people, I got a bit of a cough. Just it's a hay fever, man. It gets on my chest as well. Do you guys suffer with that? Do you guys know about it? Yeah. But anyways, enough about that. But this is the ability that he has. The potential is still high, and then coming into whatever club he chooses next, I think you'll see an even bigger development in his game. A bit like what Jack Grealish, I'm holding my hands up. You guys know I wasn't Jack Grealish's biggest fan. Always thought he was overrated. And I still think that I can be proven right to a certain extent. Not saying that he's overrated now, but you've seen a progression into his game. This isn't, Jack Grealish is back to his best. No. He couldn't play like that at Aston Villa, where he's holding his position out wide on that left, because he had that freedom to go anywhere, and he wasn't really producing many goals or assists. Yes, but he created the most chances, etc. That don't really matter unless you're producing as an attacker. That's what we got to look for nowadays. Are you producing? Because if you're not producing goals, you're not winning games. And that's what he was doing it in the Championship for a bit. I speak to plenty of Aston Villa fans, and they kind of thought Jack Grealish was overrated for the ones that I speak to. But yeah, he stepped it up, and not necessarily from a goal front, but just from doing his role in this Manchester City team, using his skill set and really taking it on to the next level, and Pep Guardiola getting the best out of him there. But yeah, it was great to see, and that's what I really think can happen with Declan Rice in that midfield. And so we need someone who's going to be available every week, as Thomas Partey has been rumoured to move away to Juventus or Saudi Arabia as well. And yeah, we'll get into that as well. We've got plenty still to talk about, people. But what have you guys said in the comments? So I've always been a bit underwhelmed when I watch Rice, baby. I'm sure you've seen those ads on the bus stops and stuff. If you haven't seen him in real life, you'd have seen him on Twitter. But impressed when he plays for England. So hoping that our Arsenal Football Club, with Arteta's coaching, then I think he'll be a great fit for us. Absolutely indeed, Westbird. And that kind of, I echo those words. I really saw the ability and the capability to play in that lone 6 for England, because you were never going to see it at West Ham under David Moyes, because there's a ceiling to that at the end of the day. And I can understand why people a bit like before about Rice, but nah, definitely he's got the ability, and we can take him to the next level. We can. Indeed. What's Pac saying here? He says, how many deals in the future would the player choose heart over money? It's not a lot, but promising for this particular deal. Absolutely, Pax. And that's a brilliant point that you've raised right there. And that also leads and goes back into the character and the mentality of the player. Because, Pax, you'd have seen this as well. We've been interacting on Twitter of late. When West Ham fans were turning around saying, Declan Rice is showing a weak mentality by choosing Arsenal over Manchester City, where he's got guaranteed trophies. Excuse me. Doesn't that show you the complete opposite of a weak mentality? To take the risk to go to Arsenal because he believes in himself. I can take this Arsenal team to the next level. I can do it. I'm challenging myself. Because let's go. If Arsenal don't challenge for the league again next season or challenge for the Champions League and being in and around the title race, that's a regression from last season. And the signings that we would have made wouldn't have done their job. And Declan Rice being the key man, Arsenal's potential record signing, a British record fee as well in the Premier League, to take that mantle and that pressure. Because if you're a British record signing at Manchester City, Jack Grealish again, you don't necessarily have to come straight into the team. You can have that bedding in process. Play the odd game or two, play the cup games. Man City, you've got a settled squad. Yeah, you'll have to work hard to get into it, but you'll eventually get into it anyway because players are aging, players need rotating. Manchester City rotate their best players at the best of times, so it don't even you will be used to that at that club. But we're at Arsenal where you can't let that foot off that gas because you'll be under pressure and ridiculed for it. We saw it at the end of the season. That shows a lot of character and what he's done right. And what you said right there, how many deals in the future would the player choose heart over money? Not when Saudi come knocking. It's going to be hard to say no. Ruben Neves, indeed. Let's have a look to see what you're saying as well in the chat. Brilliant point that you raised right there, Pax. Thoughts on Jamaica Tereak? Blake, amazing saves. Prem missed in on him. Yeah, man. Philadelphia Union's very own Blake. Is it Philadelphia Unions? Who is he playing for? I'm on about one of the defenders for Jamaica plays for Philadelphia Union, but nah, I know what you mean. And Damari Gray made the difference in the debut, and Bailey's pen saved by Turner. But Jamaica already looking way better. Yeah, taking it with a pinch of salt though. I'm a bit of a pessimistic Jamaica fan because I looked at the team that USA put out there. Yes, they still had some strong players like your Ferreiras, like your Matt Turners in there, but it was very much a changed team to the ones that played in the Nations League, didn't they? Wasn't it? The one that played against Canada and whatnot. And Moss, we need to talk about Canada at some point too, because I saw some horrendous news regarding the men's national team. And with their financial situation being so bad, they're not going to be able to play. They might not be able to play. Sorry, let me put that. Might not be able to play in next autumn/fall's international break. Massive. Jamaicans want Toronto 2026 in Toronto, definitely. That'll be the dream. Hopefully I'll be there as well. That'll be the dream, to be able to bring Tereak Talks over there, the TTF over there. Isn't Calvin Phillips better for England than Declan Rice? Well, Calvin Phillips was, I'd say, on par, if not better, for England up before the World Cup, before he made his move. Not even necessarily his move to Man City. The season before that, after the Euros, he had an injury hit season at Leeds, and he hasn't really kicked on from there. Man City signed him last summer, and injuries plagued him again. But Declan Rice has continued to stay fit and continue to develop. But you got to remember that Declan Rice is younger than Calvin Phillips, 2 or 3 years younger than Calvin Phillips. So there's even further development that he can catch up to. Hay fever, absolutely rubbish, Mr. T. I feel your pain. I know it's a nightmare. You got beautiful weather out there, but you can't enjoy it because of that darn hay fever. And I like winter and autumn in particular because one, my birthday's there, two, Christmas is in and around there as well, but mainly because I can go outside. Yes, I'm cold, put a coat on, but I don't have to worry about sneezing unless I've got a cold from staying indoors for too long. But yeah, because that's how you actually get a cold, not from actually being cold outside. Yeah, COVID should have taught us that. Phillips with Rice makes Declan more offensive. So maybe we should keep TP. Well, it worked the other way, didn't it, for England? It was actually Calvin Phillips was the one who was going more, making more runs into the box. But yeah, but I hear that because you could play Declan Rice in and around that left 8 position. You could get him to do that Xhaka role and he'd do it to the same level, if not higher, because with his progressive ability. And that's interesting. Arsenal signing players who can carry the ball a lot more and who can break through the lines through dribbling and driving. Timber, Rice, Havertz, one to keep an eye on, potentially Romeo Lavia, who's very good with his progressive carries. But anyways, sorry, back to this point. Maybe we should keep TP so you could have Thomas Partey in at the base with Declan Rice in that left 8, and then you have your Erdegaards, your Vieiras, your Smith Rowes, or you have going in there. And do you know what? I would prefer to keep Thomas Partey for that reason. Would you miss out on Lavia to keep Thomas Partey and have Declan Rice fight for that with Jorginho in there as well and Declan Rice? I would, but do I see it happening? No, because I think if we sign Declan Rice, we're going to build the team around him. And when I mean that, you can build a team around him in the left 8, but we're going to have him be that stalwart in that midfield position where he's starting in that number 6 role, that defensive midfield. Sorry, let me say that. Defensive midfield role. Because he's durable. He plays every game. You can play him twice a week. He can still play. He doesn't actually need that much rotating because he's similar to Xhaka where he keeps himself very fit. And he's got a very good injury record until it comes to Arsenal. I think that's what's going to happen. But I do agree with you, Moss. I would keep Thomas Partey because that gives us even more depth, more experience. I'd rather bring in a Lavia as well. I'd get rid of Jorginho, keep Partey, build Lavia up for this season, get him being able to play with your Rices, your Parteys, etc. He'll really develop in that sense. And then with a year left on his contract, Thomas Partey, 20 million, 15 million. There you can go off your pops. And Romeo Lavia comes in age 20 with another season in the Premier League under his belt. And to come into that team, I think that would work more. Exactly. I'm feeling it. Still coughing. Sorry, people. Big up my brother Niall in the building. Says, where you been hiding, mate? Why are you not shooting for months? I'll get into it. No, but big up yourself as well. And UV's in here says big up, long time no see. Big up Peony Ween says Man City guaranteed trophies are all tainted. Go to Arsenal, become a legit legend of the game. That's where you got, and that's where I agree with you, Peony Ween. And I think you guys as well. If you're a Man United fan, if you're a I was going to say Chelsea, but if you're a Man United or Liverpool fan, I think we can all agree. If you go to Manchester United, Liverpool, or Arsenal, and you win a Premier League or a Champions League, I know if you win it at Arsenal, it's going to be wow, you're the first person to ever do so. But any of the major trophies, it's more valuable and it's more cherished than even Chelsea and Man City. Because what are Chelsea and Man City always going to get? You bought it. You bought it. You've got no heritage. You did this. You did that. You had to cheat. 115 charges. For Man City, Chelsea breaking all sorts of FFP before FFP was even there, like Gail Kakutas, and how they have their dodgy dealings. All of that controversy surrounded. It does taint it. You have to be honest. We watch enough sport, guys. We've seen it in other sports too. Basketball, Golden State Warriors. The first time they won the championship was much better than when they won it with Kevin Durant. And when they added the superstars into there, because it didn't feel organic. It felt, plastic to a certain extent. And that's just the way it is. And that's someone who supports the Golden State Warriors, because it's not like how the Denver Nuggets have built it, where they've gone through a massive period of not winning, never winning a championship, building it organically, bringing in your Nikola Jokic, your Jamal Murray's, your Michael Porter Jr.'s, making those trades to get in the right pieces, your Bruce Brown. It's Bruce Brown. It is, isn't it? Yeah, the one from San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, there are ways, and Denver Nuggets also another Cronky owned club. So yeah, man, I definitely agree with you there, Peony. So if given a realistic chance to sign 5 or 6 players, who would they be, and why would you sign them? Oh, Westbird, realistic chance. I love it because I would sign 5 to 6 players, and those 5 to 6 players would be Rice, number 1. Havertz is going to be number 2. Urian Timber, number 3. So that leaves 2 to 3 more. I would go and break the bank for Moises Caicedo. Yes, I know that's crazy. I would sell Partey happily if it meant we're bringing in Moises Caicedo. But if you want to say more realistic one, okay, maybe sell Partey, have a Lavia come in. Rice, Jorginho, Lavia. Doesn't actually sound too bad. Build up Lavia. He has ridiculous potential. Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea are all interested in him as well. Arsenal can really build on that, who have kept a good relationship with him. So let's say that's the 4th one. I would still look to bring in. Arsenal still keep an interest in João Cancelo. And if it meant that we sold Tierney, I'd bring in a João Cancelo as well. Someone to compete with Alexander Zinchenko for that left back position. Because Arsenal now, what do we want? We want competitors. We don't want backups. We don't want to be signing those anymore. Like, all credit and all respect to Reece Nelson, who's going to sign a new deal, and Eddie Nketiah. They were backups last season. We know that. We know when our best players are fit, we know realistically, no matter how the form of Reece Nelson or Eddie Nketiah is, they're not they're not taking over the spots of Martinelli, Saka's, or Jesus, because ultimately you can't trust them to be good enough on a consistent basis to do so. Reece Nelson was excellent coming off the bench last season, off the bench against Bournemouth, off the bench against Southampton. But when he started games, it left a bit. Nottingham Forest as well. Don't forget, there's a 3. Still left some to be desired. I understand why we extended Reece Nelson's contract, because I think it's more of a kick in the can down the road situation. And I know it sounds harsh, and I'm putting it in a blunt way. I think we will look to address that the wingers, the forward spot. When I say forwards, the wide forwards in this next summer, because they are at a premium. It is harder and they are just as expensive as getting a Declan Rice or player of that ability, someone who's going to be at the level to compete with a Saka or Martinelli. Because think about it like this, right? If we're going to bring in someone that we want to be almost as good, let's say as good, if not better, than Saka and Martinelli, how much would you sell Saka or Martinelli now? Saka's the 5th most valuable player in the world according to Transfermarkt, and that's quite reliable, I'd say, in terms of how they value players. And transfer value doesn't necessarily mean that's how much they go out for, because what it just takes into account is the age of the player, the level that they're playing at internationally and club level, and the contract length that they're in, that they've got. Saka signed a new 4-year deal. His value is going to remain high even next season, even at the end of next season, because we still have 3 years left. The value is ridiculous, and they can charge even double of what their transfer value is. And you'd probably say in and around 100 million for Martinelli, given today's market as well. He's just come off the back of his 15-goal season, non-penalty goals as well. And he's a Brazilian international too. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's hard to sign a winger. So I would say João Cancelo, Lavia, and if we wanted if I wanted to be really greedy and get a 6th player in, it would be a physical forward, someone who can come in who's. I feel like this is what Kai Havertz is though as well, but someone like a Ivan Toney profile. Don't think we'll get him. Because he's got a transfer ban. But you know what? I'll say I'd do some Vlahovic, someone like that, but that's really greedy. I don't think it's realistic to say six, but if you've got a sixth one, let me know. Let me know. Easy choice, Man City, classier. The choice, yeah, the Arsenal. Simples. The classier choice is Arsenal, definitely. Sorry, people. Definitely needed to sort that out. And Moss talking about the Canada situation. We have money. They're idiots claiming no money as women are threatening to strike before World Cup here. We need to account in New Jerseys are pretty cool though. Got one. So Moss is doing his bit to help the cause. Big up my brother M as well. We'll get into it at the end of the stream, my brother. But big up yourself. Thank you for coming into here as well. Just got home and online. What's the latest, fam? We don't have any breaking news as of yet. I'm going to have a look on Twitter to see if there is anything to update on this. Is that a real picture of Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt? I think I've just seen one. Okay, yep, it is Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt, and it is official. Let me bring this up. Let me bring this up for you. Indeed, this is a real picture of Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt. So that's DB as my fellow Gooner right here. I can bring this to you and I'll show it you live on stream. I don't see any breaking news with it though. Let me just change the background because it will kind of affect everything when I bring it up on here. But yes, Kai Havertz is an Arsenal. Well, we know it. We knew he's an Arsenal player, but we can definitely see it here right now. Killer Kai, indeed. Let me just get this. I'm trying to locate it. Sorry, stalling, vamping right now whilst on this stream. Why am I not locating it? Oh, because I've saved it on my desktop, haven't I? You should have saved on my desktop. I don't know why it hasn't. Apologies, people. Apologies, but yeah, I'm trying to locate this. Sorry, there we go. Here it is right now. So you should be able to see it in a matter of seconds. Kai Havertz wearing an Arsenal top right there. Real, no edits. We've seen all the all the edits going on, going around, as you can see on my thumbnail as well. But yeah, Kai Havertz is going to be an Arsenal player indeed. So there's our first signing of the window. Guys, let me know your thoughts if you're watching this afterwards on Kai Havertz being a Gooner, leaving Chelsea that to go to Arsenal. A well-trodden path either way indeed. So yeah, let me get into the comments. We've got plenty of you in here. Guys, really do appreciate you for tuning in. We have spoken a lot about the Arsenal transfers, but we will talk about the other transfers and other news breaking as well during this stream. It's true, COVID taught us to hoard TP. Exactly. It did teach us to hoard a lot of. I've got a lot of stuff that I need to get rid of out of this screen. He just brought me on to that. Big up my brother Shay in the building. It's been a while. And he says, "You're a legend." Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Love to yourself and hope you're keeping good and enjoying your summer. We shouldn't sell Partey, but seems to be behind the scene issues. Yeah, maybe that's to do with it. Maybe that is indeed with his issues off the pitch, let's say, which isn't confirmed, but maybe it is. And on form, Partey is the best in the league, but an injured Partey cannot help the team. Unfortunately, he's injured a lot, so sell him if the money's good. I'm with you there, Mr. Westbird. I am with you. On form, when he's fit and firing, one of the best in the league. Him and Rodri, for me, in terms of the way that they have to play. Yes, Man United fans are going to say, what about Casemiro? I think the roles that Casemiro, Partey, and Rodri play is different. It is different. Could Casemiro do what Rodri and Partey do? No, I don't think so, because I just don't think Casemiro's ability with the ball is good enough to do that, which is why Man United wanted a Frankie de Jong initially over a Casemiro. Or if you're going to pair Casemiro with a Frankie de Jong, that makes more sense to do so. But yeah, he's not a progressor through the first third. That's not his game. His passing's not that bad. Don't get me wrong. You can't be a bad passer and play for Real Madrid. But when you've got Modric and Kroos in front of you, it says a lot. You don't really need to worry about playing the ball forward too much. Just playing it to them guys and they'll do the rest for you. But yeah, Partey, he's brilliant in terms of stability, how he gets around with his athleticism, but on the ball, even more important. Very aggressive passer, playing it, breaking through the lines as well. Let's have a look. Danny Drinkwater and Calvin Phillips both have PL winners medals in 5 years. No one will remember their names. If Rice wins the league with Arsenal, he becomes iconic. Well put. Simple as that. Exactly that. And Danny Drinkwater probably has. Did he leave? He left Leicester, and yeah. So, he Danny Drinkwater, maybe because he won it at Leicester, he might get it. But I hear what you're saying. Calvin Phillips, definitely. There's other players that you could think of as well. Let's think. Scott Carson, he's got a Premier League winners medal. He's got a Champions League winners medal as well, playing for Liverpool. What else? Yeah, there's plenty of examples that you could think of just like that. But definitely, get your point and agree with you there, Matt G. Definitely do. Ricey pricey indeed. Lavia or David, says Moss. I knew David would get thrown in there. Has he really been linked with any? I've not seen his name being bandied around. Moss, keep me updated on Jonathan David. Surely it's Arsenal's year. KSE have won more trophy, won one trophy for the last 3 years. Wow. Mad. They won a trophy with the Rams, with the Colorado Avalanche, and then the Denver Nuggets. So 4. You know, that number is special with Arsenal because people always say that's what we want to aim and finish in the table. But let's get that. Let's go get that Premier League or Champions League. Either one will do. I'm happy with either. Lavia is 19 years old, full of potential. Just sign the guy and watch him fly. Exactly. Arsenal, brilliant place for for young talents to develop. And yeah, just a quick one on young talents. We've seen Ethan Nwaneri being offered a contract at Chelsea. I was talking to my sister about this yesterday. Initially, when I first heard that, which was a few months back, which when we all discussed it, why would you want to leave Arsenal to go to Chelsea? One, you'd have terrible representatives in and around saying so. And yeah, Arsenal, we give a lot more opportunities to young players. As you've seen, your Saka, Smith Rose, Martinelli's. I know they've not been through the academy, but a lot more young players in and around like that. And Koja Jubri's breaking through, and Miles Lewis-Skelly now. So Nwaneri would have a chance. But because I think now Arsenal are at such a high level, and we are competing at such a high level at this moment in time, I do think it's actually harder for academy products to break through. However, at Chelsea, what I got to give them credit for is, I won't give them a lot, they are going through a younger model and they are signing younger players and they are looking to play. I do think they are going to try and get players to break through into their academy and build around that now, mainly based off the Arsenal model in particular, but also, you know, not just the Arsenal model, but the Red Bull model, which Todd Burley's spoken about a lot. Also, is to sign players in and around Europe's best academies, and then you're able to develop them. And yeah, and not necessarily for Chelsea to sell them off, but Chelsea are a great selling club. They sell much better than most do, and then also Manchester United. But yeah, if and so they can develop. If Chelsea haven't quite moved on, they can then sell them on. So I actually quite understand now why he would want to move to Chelsea. I know it sounds a bit controversial, but I'll break it down another time as well. But I'm trying to get through the comments. And guys, you have been amazing. I'm loving it. Shay says, I hope we sign Declan Rice. Me too. I'm taking the window off from social media, but I've ripped a big toenail off by hitting. Oh, sorry. Let me read this again. Sorry. I'm taking the window off from social media, but I've ripped a big toenail off by hitting it, and with a filing cabinet drawer. Sorry. So here I am. Ouch, Peony. Oh, I hope. You know what? That sounds horrendous. You made my toes literally curl and my hands. I hope now, man. I hope it's not bleeding too much, and I hope that this is taking a bit of the pain away. I hope it is. Arsenal signing Havertz. For some people, that might be adding more pain. Big up Tezzy, mate, in the building. Says, welcome back, Tereak. Been a while. It has been indeed, but I'm glad to see you back in here as well. Liking your choices, Mr. T. And Shay says, thank you, Esbert. Shay says, get this man 700 subscribers. Let's go, people. Let's go. Like the video, like the stream. We're going to probably go on for another 20 minutes or half an hour. Also, and then on with transfers in the next 10 minutes, just catching up on life and so much to talk about. And just letting it insight into my own personal life and how I've missed you and what to expect with the upcoming summer in the short to medium term as well on the channel. And you've been missed, my brother T. I big up my brother CM in the building. I've missed you too, man. We need to have a catch up. There's plenty of you that we need to have a proper catch up here in the chat. I do miss you all and got a lot of love for you. We've even got the guys from the blue side, the white side, not the blue side, the white side of North London. Bobby K in the building says big up to Tariq and everyone in the chat as well. Didn't know Peter Bill signed for Arsenal. Do you like the new Arsenal home kit? And what is the rating out of 10? Ooh, Shay. Out of 10. Do I like it? My rating will tell you if I like it. I'm saying it's a 9. For 8.5 out of 10. I know I'm being a bit picky by saying that. Could have said 9, could have said 8, but now 8.5. I think it's one of the best home kits that were released in ages, probably since the first Adidas one. And actually, I'd say this one is better than that, but because of it was the first time we got back with Adidas. It looked amazing. I like the collar. It's much better than the last season's home kits. I can't stand collars on kits nowadays. If they're on retro kits, I'm for it. But the home kit, beautiful. Gold trims, anything with a little bit of gold, the Arsenal gold that we have, because is yours gold? Yeah, I had to bring it in, of course. So much discussion. I'm just curious to see what Arteta's plan is for Havertz, says Tezzy. Me too. Do you believe that? And this is to you to you, Tezzy, and to those in the chat. Do you think Arteta is really going to play Havertz as that left-sided midfielder in not necessarily the Xhaka role, but a Xhaka upgrade, a Xhaka replacement type, a Xhaka evolution, as they'd say, but I'd say more a Xhaka development because I don't use them words. I'd like to say development. Xhaka growth. That's what we'll say. Hands, we can't even bust jokes right now. We have nothing left. Peter Bill, Ian Bill, we got nothing left. When are you doing a calling show? I will be doing a calling show on the weekends. I'm going to be doing that on a regular basis, UV. So expect that to come in the short future. You know what? I'm thinking Saturday, Friday. I'll get into it. I'll get into a bit more detail what to expect on the channel as well. But yeah, little insight there. Rodri, Casemiro, Partey for me personally. I hear that. I can hear why Man United fans will say that because Casemiro on a career wise in terms of what he's done, but won Champions Leagues, etc. Multiple. But Partey for me, I don't think Casemiro steps into Man City or an Arsenal and does what they need to do. And because the roles are different, but the role is different at Man United, I guess. So yeah, horses for courses. At the end of the day, it's picking hairs. It's splitting hairs. That's all it is. Not picking hairs, splitting hairs. That's why it'd be better for us to get a Caicedo than Mount if we are buying just one midfielder. Definitely indeed. Someone who can bring you that ball progression. But we're going to get into, should we get into Man United right now? I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans in here, so you might want to leave and stuff, but we will get into Caicedo because apparently Arsenal still hold an interest too. And I want to hear if you guys will do. So yeah, don't worry, Arsenal fans. Big up Sis in here too. Hope you're keeping good. And everyone else that's joined in, I think I've spoken to everyone at least once that is in the comments right now. And Errol is in here. Big up, my bro, long time. Big up yourself over Solo at the Man United agenda. Go check them out. The Man United agenda right there, people. As we're talking about them and that club, because right, Man United. There's been a lot of anger and disappointment in terms of how your window's going so far, as you are waiting and still awaiting for a takeover or news upon that. You don't know what's happening. There is nothing. There's so much breaking every moment. Oh, the Saudis are getting it. Jim Ratcliffe, whatever. So far, it looks like not the Saudis. Sorry, Qataris. Sheikh Jassim is getting him, but that's still yet to be confirmed. And even if that does happen, I don't think it'll have much of an impact on this summer transfer window, because how long this process needs to, how long the takeover does need to process. Sorry, and getting targets now. Yes, I've heard Man United, and the reports are out there that Man United still have players on the list that they're ready to get, whether a takeover happens or not. Just waiting upon that. Those players will also be approached by other clubs as well. We got to remember that, people. So that's why there's a lot of a frustration at the moment. But with the Mason Mount situation, I think Man United are handling it quite well. In fact, you've put in £55 million for a player that has a year left on his contract, and publicly, and it's well stated, he wants out of Chelsea. And Chelsea have rejected it. You know why they have rejected it? Because they know that Manchester United, with the reputation that they have of just overpaying for players no matter what, because they desire and leaving it late on, usually when they could sign them earlier for a cheaper price, like your Anthony's, and just willing to overpay because they've got the money to do so, and because it's Man United, because they're negotiators, their people are incompetent in and around there. But what Man United have done is we're not going to pay more. We'll leave the bid on the table. We're not going to walk away, but from negotiations completely. We're here ready for you to call if and when you accept that bid. And Chelsea gone, okay, then you do what you're doing. I think that's the right thing. Me and Vibes have spoken about this previously, because with a year left on his contract, his value is only going to diminish. It's only going one way in Mason Mount, and that's all you need to do, because Chelsea, he's already said his desire is to leave. He's not signing a new deal. Man United, what they will just continue to do is continue to have a relationship with the player, continue to say, look, we're interested. If we don't get you this summer, we're going to get you in the next. Don't you worry about that. You're our priority in that sense. So they're not going to do a Tielemans and say, yeah, okay, we're not going to pay for you now, but we'll be there for you in the summer. No, what they're going to do is they're going to be there ready, keeping them prepped, keeping them warm, keeping negotiations flowing for Mason Mount. And Chelsea are going to have to make a decision towards the end of this window, especially with their financial fair play issues at the moment. Yes, they've sold a lot of players to Saudi Arabia, but the rumours are going, as it stands, that the first year of players moving to Saudi Arabia won't count for financial fair play. And that's going to be interesting, because I think it's, the reason being is because financial fair play is brought in by UEFA, not FIFA. And UEFA meaning it counts when players are moving in and around Europe within the first year, but not within the second. I saw news on that. I don't know how true it is. Don't shoot the messenger, but that's what I saw. And if that is the case, then it's only going to crank up more pressure for Mason Mount to leave, especially if they are interested in signing Moises Caicedo, which Brighton have also pulled a fast one on Chelsea in that sense, because there is rumours saying that Brighton said, yes, we're willing to sell Caicedo for in and around the £80 million mark. But last minute, kind of like what we heard about Declan Rice, is no, we're going to up the bid. We want 100 million plus. And Chelsea, because we know it's Chelsea getting involved, and we know you'll pay stupid amounts to get a player in, a la Cucurella, Mudryk, Enzo Fernandez, etc. We know you're willing to overpay. Because when Arsenal were involved, yeah, it's a bit different, because we know if we don't, they won't overpay. They have a limit, etc. So genuinely, that's how clubs will look at it. That's how clubs, but that's why West Ham's and Brighton's want the interests of Chelsea's, Man United's, Man City, because they say that they've got the money, but even then they should know by now that Man City don't operate in a um in that type of way anymore. They used to, but they don't really do that. They only will do that and pay 100 million or really above 60 million if they believe that a player is worth it. But they don't. If they don't, they'll happily walk away, like they did with Cucurella, like Harry Kane. Man City's. They're talking about Man City here, but yeah, this Caicedo thing is interesting because Arsenal still do retain an interest, and this is my prediction now. I think Arsenal, what we're waiting here to do is waiting to see on the situation with Declan Rice. If we can get him through the door, that's the priority. And then if we can, depending on how much we sell, Moises, Thomas Partey, and we're getting ahead of myself here. Depending on how much we sell Thomas Partey will depend on if we're willing to enter negotiations with Brighton for Moises Caicedo. Because if we sell Partey for a hefty fee to Saudi Arabia for 40 million euros, pounds, whatever the quoted figure is, but in and around that high end, and getting close of a return of investment on Thomas Partey, then that leaves us with a bit more wiggle room. Then you've also got to throw into the hat Tierney. Are we going to sell him? Following Balogun, are we going to sell those players, which bring a lot more money back into the kitty? We've also got other players like Sambi Lokonga, Rob Holding. Can we accrue? And yes, it's not a lot of money, it's not major money, but 10 to 15 million, those types of figures for those players right there. We'll have to wait and see. That's why I think Arsenal haven't completely ruled it out. The chances of us getting him are fairly slim because I don't think we'll sell Tierney's for your 30 plus millions. I don't think we'll. At the moment, clubs are a bit reluctant to set buy following Balogun, but Caicedo, if Chelsea can't wrap this up soon, and it don't look like they will be doing it this at any point this quickly. I can't even get my words out. Sorry. That leaves the door for Arsenal if they can get their sales through. That's why I said Arsenal fans stay in here, wait a little bit as we talk about it. Because yeah, Man United interested in Mount. Chelsea still need to raise money. They've signed Nicholas Jackson now on an 8-year deal, looking for a striker. Also, still need to cover in other areas such as attacking midfield, as they've brought in Christopher and Kunku, but they still need more now that Havertz has left. Will Mount still remain there? Doesn't look likely. And do you want to keep a player for a year beyond his will? Are they going to try and convince him? So much questions still left to answer. And Man United are also interested, reportedly, in Caicedo, but I think that's more of a tactic to try and get Chelsea to try and force them to sell, trying to really encourage them to sell in that sense. But Caicedo as a profile for Man United, as Paxton said earlier, it does match. It does suit them better than even getting a Mason Mount, because Mason Mount is a similar profile to a Bruno Fernandes. Not saying similar level. I don't think he's too far off of Bruno Fernandes, but someone who is a pass forward, do anything aggressive. They're an aggressive attacking midfielder. What I mean by that is, whenever they get the ball, the first thing that they think of is, can we get it to our forward players? Can we get a shot off? Can we create an opportunity? Even if it means risking giving a ball away in dangerous areas at times, they will do that. And yeah, do you really want to have two of those players in and around the team, leaving the likes of Casemiro, who we've seen is very aggressive, does kind of need a bit of protection in and around him from those players. And when I mean protection, I don't mean protection defensively. I mean protection in terms of the ball, because if you don't want to be seeing Casemiro in too many transitions, because that leaves a lot more open space with Mount and Bruno Fernandes. And then that will also mean that Casemiro's aggression and how he likes to go for a slide tackle will make him more likely to pick up yellows and red cards. And Man United didn't really, they were a bit more defensive than you'd think, than what Eric Ten Hag would want to play. in and what you imagine his style of play that he'd want to bring over from Ajax to Manchester United would be. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's interesting because it does look more to be a transition based game with a Casemiro, Fernandez, and Mount midfield than a Frankie De Jong, Casemiro. Which Frankie, I know they're not going to get him in this summer. That ship has sailed. But to move from there to it could have been a Caicedo, Frankie, and Casemiro midfield, or those players interchanging around Bruno Fernandes, which would look more to be a possession-based team. It is interesting. It's not very clear how Man United are building at this moment in time because, De Gea leaving one moment and now he's staying. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty in and around Manchester United, of course, not just from the top, but onto the bottom of the pitch, onto the pitch as well. But let's see what you guys and girls are saying in the chat right here. Moss, if anything, I think impatience is a product of how our club has operated in recent windows continuously. Also, anxiety over the club sale. Exactly that. There. Lille have concrete interest in Gift Orban as a new striker. Many clubs are keen on the Nigerian forward, but Lille have started many contacts recently. Gift Orban could be the replacement for Jonathan David. That was on the 25th of May. Big up Pats for that, for bringing us the update on Jonathan David. That no real club linked with Jonathan David at the moment, but they're certainly lining up replacements for him there. I can that stubbing your toes bad enough, but actually ripping off the nail, oh man, that's gonna be you have to big toe, little toe. Which one's probably worse? Yeah, it's got to be the big toe, really. It's got to be the big toe, but you're more likely to stub the little one. Unless you're in Peeny's case, then it's the big toe, clearly. But nah, I hope it gets better soon. I hope he has a speedy recovery, my brother. Let's have a look anywhere at anything else in the chat about this transfer talk. First, I thought he'd be a striker, but now I'm thinking Xhaka's position. That's where the talk is in regards to Havertz. That is where the talk is. And Mr. Oesbird agreeing with me here. Great minds think alike. Go get Caicedo. Oh, I need him. We need him. He'd be the dream. If Arsenal got a Moises Caicedo on top of Havertz, Rice, Timber, I'd take that. I don't need a Cancelo. I don't need another forward. I don't need anything else. We can challenge for the league with that right there, and that's a midfield rebuild sorted, sorted, and ready to go for the next season. Glazonomics always in play. I know nothing will happen soon, and that's what they feel, mate. That's how they make you feel. That's how the Glazers do. And I actually do feel for Man United fans with this situation, because I don't want you to get Qataris for two reasons. One, from an Arsenal rivalry perspective, because I think they would be the owners that would, not necessarily from a financial perspective, that they're just going to splash the cash, because Man United do that anyway. But I feel like they are going to run the club better and make better use of the finances and not take as much out of the club and invest into it more. Not just when I say in terms of transfers, but in terms of the stadium, improving the facilities, making it a more desirable place to come for players, even more than it already is. Manchester United are able to get the likes of Varane, Casemiro with the Glazers there. But imagine, Man United back again, where they can get the best players in the world, compete with Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich for the names of the next best names, not their has-beens, not the ones that they're happy to get rid of. I'm talking about the ones that they want. That's when Man United will be back, and they will be a force, a team that Arsenal will struggle to compete with. But the second reason why I don't think Man United need to have a state ownership, because they will generate a lot of money anyway. You can have someone who's not even that rich necessarily. When I say not that rich, they're still billionaires buying these clubs, but someone that doesn't necessarily need to invest a lot in from their own pocket, but they just need to work around the finances better with more care and due diligence. The takeover is the biggest transfer I want to see. 100%. Defo, definitely. Defo, bro. I can hear it. If CM's confused, I'll make a decision by midweek. Man United will be fine, says Wesbird, and will have a strong transfer window eventually, even though it must be frustrating for you guys. Wesbird, they did that at the end of last season, didn't they? It was very poor. Even when the season started, they lost to Brighton and Brentford, and then they brought in the likes of Anthony. Alessandro came in before that, but Anthony, and then Casemiro came in as well, and that really helped kick-start their season. And then a strong end because they won in the Champions League, but a much better end to the season than how it began. Can Chelsea not sign a big deal until after the 30th of June? Must make sales. Yes, that is a big reason why they wanted to sell the likes of Havertz, Koulibaly, Ziyech, get Kante off the books by the 30th of June because they need to balance the books for financial fair play. That's definitely true. But I'm not too sure if it's to do with the making. But I guess it kind of, common sense says right there that they're not going to want to sell those players and then make a massive signing because it just completely gets rid of that by the 30th of June. So I guess so. It's such a game and a puzzle in the transfer windows. Oh, nah. For keeper for Man United, Big Dave, sold maybe. I don't know. Onana, will he go to Man United? If they keep David De Gea, no chance. But yeah, this transfer window is very confusing indeed, Moss. It is hard, but I'm just having a look on here. Do we have any updates on this? I've just seen that Livramento is looking like he's going to be heading to Newcastle. That will be a great deal for Tino Livramento. The Chelsea Academy products, right back, who had a very good first season at Southampton and first season in the Premier League until he got hit with that knee injury. Didn't play until the end of last season, but they were already relegated by then. But real high potential. Tino Livramento was Chelsea's Academy Player of the Year once upon a time as well. And I really like Tino Livramento. And if it wasn't for that injury that he picked up at the end of not last season, the season before. It's weird now. I'm getting confused saying it because last season was when Arsenal finished second, whereas still to me that's when Arsenal finished fifth. But I'm even getting the years mixed up. 2021-2022 season. That's where Tino Livramento was shining. Mr. Westberg says Man United will overpay as usual. Same with Chelsea. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Some things will never change. I know that's not their lyrics, but it won't change anytime soon. I think if they are going to try to, it's a great way to start because there's a lot of publicity surrounding it for Man United. Pay what you believe. Yes, you're going to be overpaying anyway, but if you're paying what you believe is to be the player's value, given the contract, given the status, and the quality of the player, then you have to stay true and suffer, even if it means missing out on players. We've seen it at our club. We missed out on Alessandro, Rafinha, Vlahovic, all these Mudryk, Caicedo, even because we weren't willing to pay what the clubs wanted at that point. But we've not suffered too much, have we? So far, Chelsea have created a false and inflated market. Definitely why we're paying so much. But it's not just Chelsea. Man United did also. Because you remember with the Mudryk deal, they said, "Oh, if Anthony's going for this much, we're selling Mudryk for 100." So yeah, it swings in roundabouts, but definitely Chelsea and Man United have contributed to this inflated market. For sure, they've been the key ones. They have been. Yes, the Premier League's got a lot of money, but you've shown your hand to a lot of clubs around Europe as well to do so. Moss, I think Onana is a quality keeper and no doubt has the ability to showcase his ball play and has the showcase his ball playing ability. On the grand stage. I would just prioritize other positions like a striker, midfielder, etc. over him. I hear that. And Paxson agrees with you there. Let's have a look. Newcastle going for Livramento. They're doing some great business under the radar, and that's how they should be operating at the moment. Tessie May, that's how they should be doing, building that brand in Newcastle, signing players that want to play for Newcastle, and that we'll see as a step up. Because we Newcastle fans, and we probably thought as neutrals as well that they're gonna, after the time Bruno Guimaraes, they're going to be going for the likes of your Victor Osimhen's, etc., the best players in and around Europe, or the highest, the biggest market of players in and around Europe. But we've seen with the likes of Robinho, and the players do that is they don't succeed, and they don't settle, because they only go there for the paycheck, and they know they don't really care about fitting into the culture of the area that they're living in, into the culture of the club, buying into it, settling in. They don't care about any of that, because you have to build the team around them. You have to play them, because that's what's brought the fans in through the door. But no, it will be success that does that. And bringing in Livramento, a young player willing to develop, going to be playing in the Champions League, and will come in and succeed. And will be the successor, the player that they're looking to be the successor for, Kieran Trippier. Finally got my words out, and to do so, and he will. That's perfect timing. You can bed him in and do so as well. And big up my brother Wilf, says, "Hey, my brother, been out, just popped in, say, yo, wicked to have you back." Big up my brother Wilf as well. At the start of the stream, I gave you a big love as well. Thank you for tuning in, man. And yeah, for showing love as always. CM says, "Man, that will always be bound to happen. Mistakes are always magnified for goalkeepers, and social media tends to operate in such a reactionary manner that it gives the many men in black treatment." Yeah, it does. It does. You forget. I saw it with Ramsdale, my bro CM. I saw it with Ramsdale towards the end of the season. Made a few mistakes, and people completely forgot how he performed against Liverpool and how he literally saved us a point, and against Bournemouth, where we eventually got 3 points, but we could have ended up with 0 if it wasn't for Ramsdale. I hear it. It does happen. This football, it does draw a lot of many reactionary moments. But we try and keep it consistent here. We will change our opinions. I'm speaking for CM here as well, because I know what CM is a like-minded brother like me. But we're open to changing opinions if the evidence is presented to do so, and we're open to doing that. We're not stubborn in terms of how we think like that. But yeah, we're also not just going to be changing our opinions at every single moment as well. So yeah, CM has remained true to that at least. Peony says state ownership would be okay if all clubs were state owned. True. True, say, because then it's fair. It's fair to do so. And Peony, you know what? You raise a good point here. Will that be the case? I think so in the Premier League. Because if Man United get state owned, then if anyone to compete with Manchester United, you have to be state owned. And whether that doesn't necessarily have to be a Middle Eastern team, because you do know, right? If Sheikh Jassim buys Man United fans, I hope you do know by now, you are going to be owned by Qatar and by the people of Qatar. That's where your finances, that's where your owner's money is going to be coming from, because that's how it works. Saudi Arabia, Newcastle, the Saudi PIF, the Public Investment Fund, the Qataris are in PSG. The royal family, where does the royal family's money come from? As you know, in the UK, from our taxes. And then Manchester City, the royal family of, the rest, people, and you know how that works. Frankie rumors again. I'm not saying anything this time. Vibes. Your Frankie's my Rafinha. That's what it is. But you got away with it, man. I got way more. I got tons more of abuse for Rafinha than you did for Frankie, and you were worse. But But yeah, let me see what everyone else is saying. Big up my brother Realist is in here as well. Hope you're keeping good. He says, Tyreek, well, what's up? I know I'm late, but just got home. No worries, my man. No worries. But yes, Moss raises a good point. Newcastle mentioned our Kefrem Turam 2TT. And this is the reason why Moss says our Kefrem Turam is because when this was about a year or so ago now, Moss asked me a question. Was it on stream? It was on stream. Yeah, a year ago, he said, "What alternatives would you want to Yuri Tielemans in midfield?" And I said, "A Kefren Turam. That's someone that I would want." And he's gone and kicked on and taken his game to the next level. Yes, Liverpool are the ones interested in him, as Moss has pointed out right there. So yeah, Man United want him, and they want him and Kone. That's the talk right now. Turam and Kone. Turam for me is better than Kone. But they want Turam to be a defensive midfielder in a lone six. No, Turam for me isn't a defensive midfielder in a lone six. That's not how he plays at Nice, and that's not how he's going to be playing for France. He's a box to box midfielder. If he was to come at Arsenal, he could play next to a defensive midfielder in a double pivot. You know what we saw with Xhaka and Partey playing deeper previous to last season. But you could also push him up further and get him to make driving runs into a box. He's more of a Patrick Vieira type midfielder than he is a Gilberto Silva. That's so, yeah. I think they've misprofiled him a lot, Liverpool fans, to be quite honest. But yeah, Defo, a very good player, very, very. Yeah, he's got everything: passing, dribbling, physicality, speed, power. He's got it all. He's got it all. Intelligence, and that's another thing that we forget to talk about a lot with black players is their intelligence. We talk a lot about black players' athleticism and skill and whatnot, but their intelligence, very intelligent midfielder at a young age. But when you come from the Turam family, you're going to have a lot of football intelligence. Mudryk didn't even get a look on that Ukraine under-21s. I saw not even for the first game, my bro. Madness. Moving on Sharma time, but I can see why younger players would see Chelsea as a good choice. Poch is great with youth. Exactly. An even better point that I didn't even bring up right there. Poch is very good with youth and develops players well. I think he'll cook next season. Do I think he'll cook? No, I don't think he will cook. And it depends what you define as cooking. I reckon he will season. Bro, vibes, he will season the meat. He will let it marinate. I think he'll marinate it well. And that's getting Chelsea moving up the table. I think they'll get back into Europe, but not in the Champions League. So cooking, you know, I can smell that. And speaking of that, I can actually smell some good food downstairs. But cooking is, yeah, I can smell some good food being prepared right there. But nah, marinated in the fridge. It's looking good, looking like it's ready to go on the stove. Do you like that analogy, people? Am I just waffling? Speaking about food again, waffle, bang. Am I fun? Nah. Yeah, this is what I don't know why you're tuning in for this. Big up Mr. T and everyone in the chat by smashing that like button. And guys, what we're gonna do here is get through your we got a few more comments to go through. Mr. Peony Ween says, question here. Big, I love for the queue as well. Love for that. That's why it stood out. That's why I went straight into it. Q, we all have gut feelings. Last season was that Liverpool will come fifth, for example. Peony, you actually deserve your round of applause because he said this from after the Champions League final. Yep, straight after the Champions League final, Liverpool finished now. And when he said finished, like they're not going to do as well next season. I was like, I was putting Liverpool for second place, in and around there, fighting for the league title. There weren't many that said it, but he said it and he predicted it well. And he predicted the downfall in terms of the age, the turnover of their squad, mentality-wise, where the suffering what they had throughout, not getting that quadruple or even getting the big trophy in the Champions League and the Premier League, the effect that would have. Brilliant. Well said. But he says, what predictions can you make for next season? My gut feeling right now is, in terms of Arsenal, I think we'll make it to the Champions League semi-finals. I think we'll have a good run in the Champions League. And if you get to the semi-finals, who knows from there? I'm not saying we're going to win it. I think we're going to make a good run, at least to the semi-finals of the Champions League. The reason I say that, and my gut feeling is, because the versatility that we're having now throughout this team, I think that will take us, like, we'll be able to match up against like Europe's best teams. And based on, I think you need to do this in Europe, is you need to adapt. You need to adapt to who you're playing against a bit more than when you're doing the league. When you're in the league, if you just get plan A refined so well that you can, so well where it's unstoppable, like how Man City did previously to last season, winning the league, 100 points, etc. Because their plan A was so good, they didn't have to think about it. But when you're going into these one-off matches against your Real Madrids and whatnot, you have to play differently in the Santiago Bernabeu than you do at the Emirates, at the Allianz Arena, to how you do at the Emirates or wherever, etc. You have to do that. And now, if we add that adaptability, if we add in Alavia, Caicedo, Rice, or I'm not saying all those three, but two of those three at least. You can play two defensive midfielders and go with Erdegaard or Havertz in the 10. And then when you're at the Emirates, then you can go one. And then, do you know what I mean? So that's why I think now that's my gut feeling. Arsenal semi-finals. Flop of the season. What team's going to flop? Do you know what? I might be stupid. You know what? Call me stupid. Nah, because if I said this, then Arsenal have to win the Premier League. I was going to say Man City. Do you know what? Do you know what I feel? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Man City. I feel Man City. The reason being is because of the turnover that they're going to go through currently. Yes, Pep Guardiola is very good at transitioning. Yes, he has done well with that. But there has been two transitions when he first came in, and the season Liverpool won the league, where Man City went through a transition. Then I think Man City aren't winning the league. And I know it's mad because I'm saying Arsenal, but if Arsenal make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League and Man City don't win the league, I'm like, Arsenal have to win the league. But I feel like I feel like losing Gundogan, losing Bernardo Silva potentially. Who else? Mahrez. I feel like that's a hindrance. Kevin De Bruyne is out for the start of the season. Kevin De Bruyne's injuries is getting worse, guys. Kevin De Bruyne's injuries is getting worse, and he's aging. He's missing the start of the season already because of his torn hamstring. I know it's a big shout. I know it is. And I might look stupid, but it's early. It's early gut feelings. And that's why it's a good question. That is why I like that question from Peony Ween right there. Well, have I gone past? We've just got plenty more comments. We've got plenty more to go through. Let's go through because I saw it. Well, we got to the bottom, and then we've got plenty more because it's me dilly dallying too long. Favorite biscuit right now? It changes. Oreos the go-to. Oh no, I know what my favorite biscuit is right now. I'm showing it you. No, guys, favorite biscuit in the chat right now. What is your favorite biscuit in the chat? My favorite biscuit right now, today, I'm about to share my screen, so I need to change my background because it'll mess up everything. But I'm about to share my screen. Okay, my favorite biscuit right now, and my mom, my sister they know it because when they come round, they keep getting me this. Yeah, is Choco Lebanese. Choco Lemnies. And do you know what? These ones are the best ones, the good old milk chocolate original. But these are banging. And do you know what it sounds? You know what? It doesn't even sound like it's going to sound banging, but it tastes like cornflakes. It tastes like a chocolate flavored cornflakes. Them white chocolate ones. Mwah! Mwah! Choco Lebanese, my favorite biscuit currently right now. Great question, PD. Let's bring this one back. Get your biscuits in the chat, people. Get them in the chat. I've contacted my cousins in Qatar. New DRF and Frankie on the agenda. Hey, vibes his sources right there. He's his cousins. Big up, big up, big up. Hey, I saw something on Twitter yesterday about Taylor Swift as well. There was a stan that was started crying. I thought it was you, Vibes. I thought Vibes had a face reveal. Someone started crying. Like if like, we waited years to see Taylor Swift. I thought that was you. My brother Will says, how do the TPG look now after predicting Arsenal to come second? Hey, well, there was a prediction to win the league as well. But hey, but yeah, at least second. Yeah, I think you did say Arsenal will finish at least second at the start of the season, which is good. You know what? Fair play indeed. I think you said it after the Palace game. Arsenal are going to finish second. Fair play, my brothers. Fair play. My gut feeling is that Tottenham will be good. Your gut feeling proved right, and that's going to be interesting. Ange Postecoglou, the good manager. Good manager. Yep, everyone called us crazy, CB. Tereak, you will regret that statement. Lol, okay. Semi-finals would be a run. Semi-finals. Semi-finals, go get some food. Semi-finals, yeah. I'm early feeling. They're on to me now. I'm not hearing the end of this. I'm not hearing the end of it. I was wrong. West Ham, I had top 10, but maybe the conference must have taken their focus. Well, Mikel Antonio said it on the Filthy Fellas podcast, which was quality. I loved it. David Moyes tried to change their style of play and then went, nah, forget this. We can't get the results, so we've got to go back to playing the old way. But yeah, I don't really think the Conference League took too much of their focus. I think it was the change in the style of play because they bought Scamacca, Paqueta. They tried to play Rice in a single pivot, but they don't have the centre midfielders to keep the ball in and around there. Souček ain't doing that. He's just a runner. Do you know what I mean? I'm predicting title and semi. Oh, I'd love that. Oh, that'd be a great first season. That would be a great one. Double. Kai Havertz has won the double. Could you imagine? Hey, you're getting me dreaming now. Oh, Ajax wanting more and more for Yuri and Timber. Is that what they're saying right now? Is that what they're saying? Oh, I hope not. Oh, man. I've seen there's a quote from the ex-West Ham employee as well. If you're on Twitter, you'll know so much about them. But yeah, the ones who are keeping us well informed and up to date with Declan Rice's situation. Shortbread, here we go on the biscuit. Shortbread with chocolate chip bits. Ooh, you know what? Whatever shortbread you have to have it with at least a glass of milk, but with a cup of tea or a coffee. But at the very least, a glass of milk. Great shout. Very good shout with the chocolate chips, even better. Do you know what? I hated malted milks with chocolate on top before. Had them again the other day. Completely changed my mind. I love them. I should have just said completely changed my mind. They're even worse than I thought. They were nice, man. I enjoyed them. If we keep Partey and get our other targets, yes, he's caveating that prediction there. Wilf, we know your predictions are hella wrong. He's on about the Jesus thing. Whereas for me, it's because Conte is humiliating them, could drive them to do better. True. After bad seasons, it can give you that, kick up the backside, that camaraderie, that siege mentality. Could do. We saw off of the back of a failure. It was a good season to finish we finished fifth, but we failed on our objective in getting the Champions League, and look how that kicked us on and how we move forward. CL semi-finals is extremely optimistic. Tereak, we can't even win in the Europa League. Think we'll make up the numbers this season. A few years yet before we compete in the CL. Do you know what? I hear that in the Europa League. Yeah, in the Europa League. I hear that, but I feel like we're building such a strong squad right now. Mr. W, we're gonna have to compete in two competitions. Ramsdale's going to play in both. We're not going to be chopping and changing our goalkeepers anymore. Timber, and this is me putting a lot of, I'm saying Timber and our signings to hit the ground running. Timber to come in and rotate with Tomiyasu, Ben White, Saliba potentially as well. Gabriel Kivior in that spot. If we keep a Tierney, it's all we still got plenty more. That was just an early gut feeling. We need to see how the squad's looking. That's the main thing. If the squad is looking good in terms of strength in depth and more rotational options in and around the back, mainly defensively, Mr. W, because we've got that in. We're going to have that in midfield. Because if we sell Partey, we definitely bring in someone else in. But if we keep Partey, let's say we get Rice. I know that hasn't been done yet, but a Rice, Erdegaard, a Havertz, a Smith Rowe, Vieira, and I'm expecting Vieira and Smith Rowe to kick on. I know there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes. I will say that with that prediction. Tereak, can you do a call-in show regarding predictions? I'll call in one. Yes, Manj, definitely. 100% I will do that. I did it last season. Before the season started, where we did have like a call-in show. I will keep you up to date on that. Stay tuned in on the socials. I got the link to the Discord down below in the description. Guys, click on that. Follow the Twitter. The Twitter. I sound old when I say that, but follow my Twitter if you are on there. But if you're in the Discord, I'll put all updates in there as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Someone else said Transition City. Find that funny. A treble in transition, lol. Yeah, but if they are getting rid of a few players, there is a transition. Gundogan's a key player. Is their captain, the club captain? I feel like, yeah, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez. Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, massive players in there for them. But yeah, it's one of them ones. We'll see. We'll see. Well, after the season after Man United won the treble, what did we? 99. Well, no, we won the double. We won the double in the 98 season. My bad. Not the 2000. Your stars are on the floor. I'll reach for the stars. I was chatting to. they're out there, but I can see the biscuit talk. And then what we're gonna do after, we're gonna wrap it up and go talk. To keep you an update on the personal life, and then and then talk about what's on the agenda as well, people. But yeah, please, Tariq, don't judge us as KDB always. Oh, he always scores on us. I'm hoping he's injured for that Community Shield game, which it looks like it will be. Forget the damn cookies, he says. Tunnocks, tea cakes. He's on. Oh, vibes. You just brought that into my mind. Bourbon, classic. I think, come on, Pax. It's a classic biscuit. You can't argue with a bourbon. Come on. Maybe you got to do better than that. It's a safe go-to. It's like nobody hates a packet of ready salted crisps. But it's not your favorite, is it? Maybe. I can't hate on that. Oreo biscuits are immense, though. Definitely can't love them to bits. Sea biscuit. Have I just said something mad there? I don't even know what. Hold on. Let me pre this. Let me pre. Oh, is it a horse? Oh, it's a horse. It's a film. That's his favorite biscuit. There we go. Sorry, I just had to have a look into it there. I had to have a double check. Oh, I should have known. It was with PD Weed. Chocolate chip cookie, obviously. Good shout. Yeah, chocolate chip cookie. Sounds very American. These are elite, to be fair. A chocolate lit. Whoa. What's a chocolate Leo? Whoa. Choco Leo. What is that? Is that a Milka one? Is that cereal? Oh no, I'm on about looking at something else. Is that like a Kit Kat? Is that like a Milka Kit Kat, Manj? Is that like a Milka Kit Kat? Because that sounds. I'm liking the sound of that. Custard creams. Oh no, CM, no. I loved you so much until this moment. Nah, I still got a lot of love for you, but I've always been addicted to cream crackers though. Nah, man, I don't like custard creams. You know, they're the worst out of what. Do you know what? They're the bottom one in a variety packet. I'm sorry, but you know what? At least me and CM can share a pack of biscuits together and not have to worry. um, um, oh, there we go. I think it's just Wilf and really going at each other. Mr. T, they were my mom's fate. Oh, chocolate. Which one's that? The chocolate chip cookies or the Oreos? Oh, or the chocolate. Oh, or is it the shortbread? I hear that. I hear that. Chocolate Lebanese. Oh, okay. Is that? Oh, that's what you meant. Tunnock's biscuit cookie equals Subway has some. Yeah, Subway. Beautiful cookies. They do have a lot of them as well. I cried in Tesco and fell over when I saw UK tour dates. Taylor Swift. Oh, the goals from Jesus. Shall I make a prediction? Go on then. Go on then, Wes. She's Will said Westbed. No, that's what it is. No predictions. No chance. We'll wait until Wilf and Realist are on the show together. T, don't do this to yourself. It's the hope that kills. Are we swapping Arteta for Mbappe? We've got Super Mick Arteta. He knows exactly what we need. No way. I don't want him. He would only leave us in about a year anyway. T, question for you: what would happen? What would have to happen for you in the season? For basically, what would have to happen for Arteta to get sacked? For Arteta to get sacked, he would have to. Right. During the season or at the end during the season, we'd have to be like 8th, 10th. If Arsenal were in 8th, 10th position, yeah, 8th or 10th position, and we're approaching halfway through the season, you're gonna have to go, mate. That's there. That's for that. You'd have to go. If Arsenal were in and around mid-table, halfway through the season, you'd have to go. If Arsenal regressed and finished in the top 4, he can still, stay. If we finished in the Europa League at the end of the season, I think he'd have to go. He'd have to go. Yeah, because we're at a stage now in our process. Minimum Champions League football. If we don't win a Premier League, we have to finish in the top 4. We have to. Or if we don't finish in the top 4, we have to win the Champions League. Or at least get to the final. At least get to the final. But yeah, those are the things. Those are the things. Outside the Champions League at the end of the season, during the season, mid-table. But we should never be there. We should never be there. Let's see what you're saying now, guys. Anything else? Guys, all right. What I'm going to do now is, as we're approaching the end, guys, I started a new job. That was a reason in the transition for the pause. I also had other stuff going on in the personal life, which some people were kept up to date with, but and a lot of majority of you weren't. But yeah, guys, that's the main reason I went through a transition. It was. Yeah, a big reason for why I'm in a job now which allows me more freedom to create content. Well, I can still pay the bills, still can buy things to help improve the channel, and yeah, that gives me more energy to do so as well, guys. So that is a big reason for the break. I've been just coping with that transition. That's been taking up a lot of the time as well. So thank you, CM in here. Congratulations on the new job again, bro. Tereak transition. No. No, none of that. None of that there, boss. The transition from the job. That's what it's done. But yeah, big up my brother Vibes in here as well. We love to see the shine. But yes, that's the main thing. I've been able. I had a good job opportunity that I couldn't deny. That's something that allows me more freedom to create shows during the day as well, not just in these evening times. I'm still in training at the moment, so basically, I'm not going to be as frequent as I'm going to be eventually. So once I've completely settled in and I've got my workflow going, and I can start, take in during my times. I've got more freedom. For example, I can take my lunch whenever I want. I can stream during, so that means I can stream at any time that I wanted to throughout the day. I can start work when I want as well. I can start work when I want. That's the good part with it. And so it means I can finish when I want. So that helps a lot. And it's helping a lot in terms of getting these streams sorted and ready. And I spent a bit more time on the thumbnail today, and I did a little bit of the background too. And as you may have seen on the channel, if you go on to the channel page at the end of the stream, I've even updated the little banner there. So I've been able to, put more time into it, and I really want to invest a lot of time into this now. And that's what I'm doing with my time and money. That's what I want to do. Initially, when I started the channel, I invested a lot of money into it. Getting the equipment, things of mic, the laptop, I got the ring light. I've got other things, for my Twitch as well, that I invested a lot of money in. And I kind of took a break from that, not an unforced one as well, in that sense. And not just a break, but also I felt like I was taking my focus away from it. And that's what I really want to do, because this, at the end of the day, is what makes me, really happy, and where I get a lot of my energy. And when I say it makes me happy, genuinely, guys, I get a lot more energy when I'm out here doing these streams and chatting to you, talking football, venting even my frustrations when things aren't going well for Arsenal. But love discussing with this community non-football topics as well, as we just spent probably about 20 minutes or so talking about biscuits and Taylor Swift and whatever. So now, guys, I really do love this community, and I can't put into words how much you guys really mean to me, each and every one of you. And we've had so many of you stay throughout the consistency, throughout these 2 hours, and it means a lot, because I want to chat to you, and I've built, and I'm proud of this community that I have here. And I was a bit worried, oh man, it's been a while since I've streamed, and maybe you found someone else, but maybe you still have. Maybe you're just trying to give me closure. But now, guys, you are a big reason for energy, and for why I even work and why I want to work and have a job. Do you know what I mean, guys? And I'll be honest with you, like the jobs that I've had in recent times, that's not the dream. That's not what I would want to be doing for the rest of my life. Like that's true. I know it's for a period, and I know it's for something that can help me kick on. Is as long as I stay disciplined and I stay consistent. Those are the two things that why am I doing them two fingers? Those are the two things I know I need to do. Stay consistent and stay disciplined. And as long as I can do that with the help of you guys, the love that you guys show, this can go anywhere. And it's not even numbers that I want. I just want quality. I want people like you in here. Sorry, Pete, these comments sound like you're going to propose. I can't be serious. I can't be serious with you guys in here. But yes, I really do want that. And this is the dream. We've got plenty of other more content creators in here, and people who show a lot of love. And I know that we all share the same dreams in here. I have a dream badge in here as well. Look at this T-shirt, that Prime Minister's speech, and I have a dream. We all have a dream, and I would love to do it with my people, the people that show a lot of love to me, that will consistently turn up, and just want to discuss things. And I'm happy that I can make you, the fact that you guys stayed here for a bit kind of shows that you kind of enjoy it as well. So if I can continue to do this and keep pushing the channel and keep smashing these targets together, this is it. You are the reason why you make it so enjoyable. If it weren't for you, I'd just be talking to myself. And I do that a lot anyway, without go doing live streams and stuff. But yeah, you probably think I'm a madman now. Unsubscribe, see you later. But nah, seriously, guys, you do make it. You give me a lot of energy, and I genuinely. You can ask my mom. If my mom was here right now, she'd say, she's been saying, when are you getting back doing it, man? When are you getting back? You've been miserable in and around the house. Yeah, you guys see a lot of smiles from me all the time, but genuinely, I'm not. I, what since doing it, it felt like since doing these streams when I've not done them for whatever reason. When the first time I had my break was when my laptop broke on me. It was horrible then, and yeah, we've had little things, little intervals where I've not been able to do watch-alongs because of said like if I felt like a lot of my previous job, I was fortunate, don't get me wrong, it was a great place to work at, don't get me wrong, anything to do with that, but in terms of the channel, it took a lot of energy out and I wasn't able to do the watch alongs and try and maintain a balance. And I'm also trying to get back into some good physical fitness and good physical shape as well. And that's what this new job allows me to do, because it is still quite sedentary. It's still like an office based job and whatnot. But because with the hours that I can choose when I can work, it allows me more freedom, that I can go to the gym in the mornings, afternoons and whatnot, and really maintain a good balance as well. But making sure honestly, the main priority is jumping on these streams, talking transfers, creating thumbnails, thinking of topics, trying to draw guests on a consistent basis, where we can get the Arsenal show, where we can get. I want to do preview shows. I want to do watch-alongs. I want to do, as Moss popped it right here. Where is it? Where is it gone? Where did he say drafts? Where's the drafts? Where's he? Where is it gone? I can't believe it. I can't see it. But yeah, it said drafts right there. I think it was Moss that said it. Yeah. So definitely drafts. And that's something that I want to announce as well on Friday. On Friday, what we're going to do throughout the summer, we're going to make Fridays entertainment, fun Fridays with Tereak Talks. Right. So this Friday, this very first Friday, stay tuned. And this is open for any of you guys out here. So I'm going to hit you up. You hit me up as well if you're interested in joining any of these two Fridays. This Friday, we're going to do a draft. Yeah. I'm still yet to draft up the idea for the draft, but it's going to be a football draft where we're going to be doing drafts, picking, having fun, debating, talking about players. We're going to be doing drafts from the past, drafts from the present, and not like the NBA where we do drafts from the future for the future talents. But we're going to be doing all sorts quizzes. We're going to bring that involved. We'll have debate shows. We're going to be bringing back life. I already spoke to Rich about this too. So, guys, Fridays, whilst we're off, whilst there's no football going on, and we won't have any football now up until August. So, basically, for the next month and a bit, we're going to be having fun on these Fridays. And hopefully we can still make that. And if it does smash it, and if it's something that we really enjoy and have a great and love doing together, when we do bring back the preview shows as well, we can do 2 streams a day. Do you know what I mean? That'll be the dream, guys. So we can do the 2 streams a day, or even do the preview shows on another day and move them around. But it's all up to you guys. It's all up to what you want to do. And it can be non-football related on Fridays too, just as long as we have fun over here. And the final thing in regards to links into the predictions, guys, don't you worry. You will still get your prizes, and it's going out to every single one of you that's taken part into the predictions league. Every single one of you, even if you know what, that we're gonna have varies, of course, but every single one of you will receive something, and that's another something that the new job does allow to giveaways. We've got stuff lined up for you already. I've already got them in the pipeline. I will be hitting you up, contacting you in regards to this, because guys, I've just got to show you love. I've given you my thank you with my words. Now it's just I've got ways of showing thank yous as well. Just little gifts and stuff, just to say thank you, because you have been a big part of my life, and a lot of the names that I've been able to meet through this community, through just starting a channel, and through being introduced by other content creators, and being able to collab, and being able to by introduced into other chats from other channels. So a lot of my Arsenal people, how I've been able to meet you guys, it's been amazing. And you guys have met each other as well, like Peony Moss and Wilf, were able to meet up with each other a year ago in pre-season, and I was able to meet up with those guys, and I hopefully get to meet up with a lot more of you guys in the future too. It should be amazing, and the future is bright. So yeah, main thing is I'm back. You will still get your gifts, and stay tuned for your Friday fun. The next show, the next time I will be back. So tomorrow, I'm just gonna get some stuff ready whilst I'm during training. But for Wednesday, I will be back on Wednesday. Hopefully, if there is any news that's broken through there, we'll discuss that. If not, we'll just be here chatting about football news, football topics. It'll be similar again, just whatever it throws up. Of course, Wednesday evening. Stay tuned for that. I will be back then. But definitely Friday. Keep it in your diaries if you are free, of course. If you're not, you can always watch it back anytime during the weekend. Friday evening, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I'm going to look forward to do that. Yet to be confirmed the time. Just depends on whatever other people are saying. We will be doing a draft. So, guys, really do appreciate you all, and I really appreciate all the comments that you've got in here as well, that you're giving me, all the love that you're giving, and I've been having a quick glance on them as I've been chatting to you. But I just want to give you a big love out to all of you guys as well. Thank you for the love, people. Breaking news streams, yep, they'll be coming as well, Moss. Definitely, for sure. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to bring more of that sort of content as well, where I can be impromptu and go, yeah, bang, I've got the time. I've got no excuses now, bro. I've got no excuses. I've got the time to do it. I've got the time to say, yeah, okay, maybe I won't be, if breaking news comes out at like 11 o'clock in the morning, I'll be bringing you that at 12-ish and whatnot. And yeah, and then hopefully one day they will be able to bring it you straight away. Tereak identifies as what now? As a content creator and a man. But T's gonna start work at 3 at 3:59 and finish at 4 p.m. Yeah, and get paid for the full day's work. Exactly. Tereak's transition to being punctual. You see, this is it. Hopefully, I've got no excuses now to be late. So I don't know what my today's excuse was. New Gen, I was supposed to ask your pronouns now as you use Mr. T. No, you call me Mr. As I said, Mr. T. Him. Biscuits and Taylor Swift. What a combo. Big up T. Great to have you back, says a Football Talk podcast. Big up yourself each and every time. Love to you, and it's great. And thank you. Really appreciate that. What is your favorite takeaway place? Ooh. Can we say Five Guys? Can we say Five Guys? I know it's expensive. I don't really go there often, but probably McDonald's. But yeah, definitely McDonald's. A 3-hour stream, nearly 2 hours and 15 minutes. Well, we'll be up to 2 hours 20 by the time we get through these. But keep pushing, T. It's all gonna fall in place. Really appreciate you, my bro. We'll keep prayers up, and yeah, just as long as we keep working, whatever happens, whatever will be. We're going to Wembley. Okay, Sarah. But yeah. So pleased to have you back, Mr. T. You have enhanced our footballing experience for definite, and all you lovely people in the chat. Big love. Those words mean a lot. All your words mean a lot, people. Really do appreciate that, Wesbird. Thank you. That's touching. That is nice to hear. And you guys enhance my football experience as well. And the fact that I get to share these moments and share these instant thoughts and feelings, and when we've had our watch-alongs and great times, talking about the game, not talking about the game, real memories. Like I remember me, Peony, for example, one of the first times you came into the chat was when we was talking about a controller. You made me drop my controller. I remember that. And those little things there, Wesbird, the predictions, and then work event, and those things, like when Tom was talking about Thomas Partey work event, linking with the Prime Minister, and Wilf and Moss on the Arsenal shows, and we had Crab in here as well, but plenty of other memories. And I feel like I'm doing a disservice to all of you. And yeah, Vibes has caught me out a few times, with cookie doughs and them things. I'm not saying what he said, but DB said, I have a dream, believe, achieve, and succeed. Bass. That's what I like to say. That's what I like to hear. double bass. Can I say something that's a bit that is a bit sad? That is a bit sad too because it's important. Definitely, let us know, Westbird. Let me know. Let me know. Big up yourself. Know how exactly. And look at that right behind there. Look at that beauty. Big up yourself. Know how. Big up yourself indeed. Rumor has it that if you stayed on YouTube, then Arsenal wouldn't have bottled the title. Oh, don't know. Maybe we would have pulled one indeed. We would have got that trophy. Don't say that now. You're gonna get people. You get the likes of Moss on that at my doorstep. Nobody wants my face in the screen. Oh, definitely, man. You got the face for radio. I'm joking. No, you've got an amazing man. Nah, if one day you're always welcome, my brother, on this channel. Definitely, indeed. What was your great question now? I can't think off the top of my head. I will give a think about that. Don't blame me, really, so I can submit the real evidence to the Trinity Police. Moss. Oh, sorry, I'm just reading your chats now, people. I'm reading yours. Life has risen from the dead. Literally, I like that. I like that. Life has risen from the dead. Yes, it has. It's still yet to confirm when that will come and whatnot, but we'll because we've got something working in the pipeline. We have. I can't announce yet. It's not my news to announce, but when it is, it will be my news to announce, and then I will announce it then. But we are working on that for sure. Might miss it. Thanks again for tonight. Great to see you in the chat. Might miss it. Gotta shoot off. Big up yourself. Big up to absolutely everyone in the chat. Really do appreciate it. King in here as well. Don't hate me because the Glazer sell is a scam. Big up yourself. No, you see, face for radio, personality for a mug. Definitely not. Definitely not, PD Weed. How many times have you made me laugh in here? Definitely not. Even that's made me laugh. To be honest, Tereak, gaming and motivation. Yo, come on, my brother. That's what I want to hear. We all got to be back. We're all going to be eating from the same plate, my brother. That's what I like. Yeah, Tereak told me 22 is his favorite song, people. I don't know about you. I'm feeling 22. Hey, sorry. And that's probably a good way to end the show, people. Who is we? Who's we? But people, big love to you all. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, again, CM's favorite number. That is his favorite song. Sorry, I need to get with this outro. Love to you all. People will be back again with you on Wednesday. Stay locked in. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Like the video if you haven't done so already. Thank you for being back, people. We are back. Not I'm back. We are back. Love to you all. We're out. And peace.